The grapefruit has a big surprise.
Cleanup hitter at bat. Catcher signals for Kelly's fastball.
Move over, Bacon. Now there's something meatier.
The 1980s were a whirlwind of bold food experiments and daring flavor fusions. While some innovations became iconic, many others crashed and burned spectacularly. From wacky snacks to bizarre beverage blends, these 25 innovative foods from the 80s aimed high but failed miserably. Some were ahead of their time, others were just plain strange, and a few were simply inedible. These food fails tell a story of ambition, misjudgment, and the ever-changing taste of the public. So, are you ready to explore the decade's most unforgettable culinary missteps? Join us today in exploring 25 innovative foods from the 1980s that failed miserably. In the early 1980s, Aids Diet Candy was marketed as a popular appetite suppressant, promising rapid weight loss through a candy-like formula. Initially successful due to its novelty and taste, the product's reputation took a devastating hit during the AIDS epidemic when the name AIDS became tragically associated with the disease. Despite the product being unrelated, the unfortunate name similarity caused a sharp decline in sales and public perception.
And you'd rather look as slim as this. Try the AIDS Reducing Plan. Delicious tasting AIDS candy contains vitamins and minerals.
Attempts to rebrand failed, and it eventually vanished from the market. The AIDS story is a rare example of a product's downfall driven largely by external societal factors rather than product quality or marketing strategy. AIDS Diet Candy promised weight loss, but could Sizzlian's fake bacon satisfy breakfast cravings or disappoint? Sizzlian gained popularity in the early 1980s as a breakfast meat marketed as a healthier alternative to traditional bacon. Created by Swift, it was a blend of pork and beef.
Now there's something meatier. Delicious sizzling.
Fake bacon?
Mom's sizzling is real meat.
Designed to cook faster and produce less grease, appealing to health-conscious consumers of the era. For a brief time, Sizzlian found success among those looking to cut fat without giving up bacon entirely. However, its processed texture and lack of authentic smoky flavor soon drew criticism. Many found it failed to replicate the satisfying crunch and taste of real bacon. As trends shifted and healthier options improved, sales declined. By the late 1980s, Sizzlian was discontinued, remembered as a short-lived hit that couldn't hold its sizzle. In 1983, Dr. Pepper gum aimed to capitalize on the soda's popularity by offering a chewing gum flavored like the iconic soft drink. The novelty of soda-flavored gum generated initial curiosity, targeting consumers who loved Dr. Pepper's unique taste. However, the gum failed to deliver an authentic soda flavor and left an artificial aftertaste that many found unpleasant. Its limited flavor longevity and lack of satisfying texture.
And the lady that I checked out said they can't get this stuff on the shelves. People were buying it right and left. So I bought it just because I do remember.
Further dampened enthusiasm. Moreover, soda-flavored gum was a niche concept that didn't resonate broadly with gum buyers. As a result, Dr. Pepper gum disappeared quickly from store shelves, becoming a quirky footnote in the era's attempts to blend beverages with confectionery. Dr. Pepper gum brought soda to your mouth, but were Fruit Wrinkles fruit leather snacks a tasty treat or a miss? Introduced in 1984, Fruit Wrinkles aimed to offer a healthier alternative to traditional fruit snacks by delivering dried fruit pieces coated with sugar. Marketed towards children and parents seeking a convenient snack, Fruit Wrinkles promised natural fruit flavor with added sweetness. However, the product's overly sugary coating negated its health appeal, confusing consumers. The texture was often too tough and chewy, making it unappealing to many kids.
They put lots of real fruit and fun in Fruit Roll-Ups and Fruit Wrinkles, so I don't mind sharing.
Additionally, competition from more flavorful and visually appealing fruit snacks overshadowed Fruit Wrinkles. Despite initial curiosity, the product struggled to maintain shelf space and consumer loyalty. By the late 80s, Fruit Wrinkles quietly disappeared, remembered as a failed attempt to blend convenience with health-conscious snacking. Launched in 1982 by Royal Crown, RC Cola, like cola, was an ambitious attempt to tap into the growing health-conscious market by offering a low-caffeine alternative to regular sodas. Marketed with the tagline, "Made from the cola nut, not from chemicals," it positioned itself as a natural, better-for-you cola option. Packaged in distinctive red and black cans, like cola contained only 1/3 the caffeine of traditional colas.
Here's Like Cola, the caffeine-free cola from 7-Up, the company famous for making great-tasting soft drinks with no caffeine.
Targeting those who wanted the cola flavor without the jitters. However, it quickly became clear that the market wasn't asking for less caffeine. It wanted better taste. The flavor was often described as weak or flat, and with little consumer demand, Like Cola quietly disappeared from shelves, becoming just another forgotten experiment of the early 1980s soda wars. McDonald's introduced the McDELT in 1985, a burger designed with a unique packaging concept. Hot ingredients on one side and cold ingredients on the other, separated by a foam container to maintain optimal temperatures. The McDLT promised a fresh eating experience with crispy lettuce and cool tomato intact until the last bite. While innovative, the foam packaging was environmentally unfriendly, attracting criticism during growing ecological awareness.
What do I give the McDonald's McDLT? It's fresh. I love the cheese aspect being cold, right on top of a hot burger pan.
Additionally, the awkward packaging was inconvenient and bulky for customers on the go. The concept faded by the early 1990s as McDonald's shifted to more sustainable packaging and simpler burger designs. Despite its short life, the McDLT remains a nostalgic reminder of 80s fast food creativity. McDLT kept hot and cold apart. Could Crystal Light soft drinks lighten drink choices or fall flat? In 1984, Crystal Light attempted to expand from powdered drink mixes into ready-to-drink soft beverages. The goal was to capture health-conscious consumers seeking low-calorie, flavored soda alternatives. However, Crystal Light soft drinks failed due to a combination of artificial taste, lackluster carbonation, and poor marketing.
Industry that's related to this, the soft drink or the soda industry, if the product can reasonably be associated.
Consumers expected a refreshing soda experience, but instead found a bland, diet-flavored drink that didn't satisfy cravings. The brand's strong association with powdered mixes also created confusion about the product's identity. Facing stiff competition from established diet soda brands, Crystal Light soft drinks were pulled from shelves within a few years. The failure highlighted challenges in brand extension and meeting consumer expectations in the competitive beverage industry. In an ambitious attempt to modernize its iconic formula, Coca-Cola introduced New Coke with a sweeter, smoother taste. Marketed as a bold evolution of the original, it quickly became one of the most infamous product missteps in history. Consumers across the U.S. reacted with outrage, organizing protests, hoarding the original version.
We're bringing back the classic original formula as Coca-Cola Classic.
The return of Coca-Cola Classic showed the company had learned an important marketing lesson.
And flooding the company with complaints. The backlash was so intense that within just 79 days, Coca-Cola was forced to bring back the original formula under the name Coca-Cola Classic. New Coke lingered on shelves for a few years under the name Coke 2, but the damage was done. The debacle became a textbook example of how not to tamper with a beloved brand. Chef Boyardee launched the spaghetti dinner in 1986, targeting convenience-seeking families with a ready-to-eat canned pasta meal. This product aimed to deliver classic Italian flavors in a quick and affordable package. However, the spaghetti dinner faced criticism for its overly mushy noodles, bland sauce, and artificial taste. Consumers often found the texture unappealing, and the flavor lacked the authenticity expected from Italian cuisine.
I discovered a way to perk up simple meatloaf. Chef Boyardee's spaghetti dinner is a side dish. It has everything you need, and because you make it fresh.
Additionally, the canned nature raised questions about freshness and quality. Despite strong brand recognition, the product failed to sustain sales amid rising competition from frozen and fresh pasta alternatives. By the early 1990s, Chef Boyardee phased out the spaghetti dinner, highlighting the risks of compromising quality for convenience. Pudding Pops debuted in 1982 as a frozen dessert blending creamy pudding and icy popsicles, aiming to offer a richer alternative to traditional ice pops. Marketed by Jell-O, the product targeted children and adults seeking indulgent yet refreshing treats. Despite an initially successful launch and endorsement by celebrities like Bill Cosby, Pudding Pops failed due to their high sugar content and inconsistent texture. The pops often melted too quickly.
You know that this is made with real pudding. New, rich, creamy-tasting Jell-O brand Pudding Pops. All the goodness of real Jell-O pudding frozen on a stick. Taste.
And lacked the crispness consumers expected from frozen treats. Additionally, competition from other frozen desserts like ice cream and sorbet overshadowed Pudding Pops. Production ceased in the late 1980s, with the product remembered as a tasty but ultimately impractical innovation. Introduced in 1987, Hi-C Ecto Cooler was a vibrant green citrus drink themed around the popular Ghostbusters franchise. Aimed at kids, it combined branding with a tangy, sweet flavor intended to stand out on shelves. The product enjoyed initial success due to the movie's popularity, but struggled once the Ghostbusters craze waned. Some consumers found the flavor overly artificial.
Those coming out of the Ghostbusters Afterlife New York City premiere, they had people lighting these bottles up with their cell phone lights. I'm assuming Hi-C, Coca-Cola, they asked people to do.
And the neon green color was off-putting to certain buyers. Additionally, changes in consumer preferences toward healthier beverages reduced its appeal. Although discontinued in the early 2000s, Ecto Cooler remains a nostalgic favorite for many, illustrating how tie-in marketing can drive but also limit product longevity. Oreo Big Stuff, introduced in 1986, was a giant-sized version of the classic Oreo cookie, aimed at snackers craving a larger treat. The cookie featured oversized chocolate wafers and extra creamy filling, promising indulgence and shareability. Despite its bold concept, Big Stuff failed because the large size made the cookie difficult and messy to eat. Many consumers found the texture overly dense and the sweetness overwhelming in such a large portion.
看飞机！哦呦，别走啦！
扭一扭，舔一舔，泡一泡。
It was also expensive compared to standard Oreos, deterring repeat purchases. Production ceased by the late 1980s, though the cookie retains a cult following among 80s nostalgia fans. Big Stuff's failure underlines how bigger isn't always better in snack foods. Introduced in 1980 by Royal Crown, RC100 was one of the first caffeine-free colas aimed at a growing market of health-conscious consumers. At a time when caffeine content in soft drinks was beginning to draw scrutiny, RC100 hoped to offer the classic cola experience without the stimulant. It was packaged to resemble RC Cola, but featured prominent 100% caffeine-free branding. Unfortunately, while innovative in concept, the execution fell flat, literally. Many consumers found its flavor dull.
Will you be in high spirits? Will you still love to travel the world? RC Cola, American taste since 1905.
Lacking the boldness of its caffeinated counterparts. It also struggled to compete with Coke and Pepsi's own caffeine-free versions released soon after. With little fanfare and poor sales, RC100 quickly vanished from store shelves and from memory, leaving behind little more than a trivia footnote. Banquet introduced boil-and-bag meals in 1985, aiming to offer ultra-convenient, ready-to-eat dinners that could be heated directly in boiling water. This innovation targeted busy families seeking quick meal solutions without the mess of traditional cooking or microwaving. However, the meals suffered from uneven heating and soggy textures, with many consumers complaining about the plastic bags altering flavor. The packaging, while novel, was bulky and inconvenient to dispose of. Additionally, the meals lacked freshness and variety compared to emerging frozen dinner options.
Your own meals using your own ingredients, cottage pies, lasagnas, chili con carnes, anything like that where you can.
Despite aggressive marketing, Banquet's boil-and-bag concept failed to catch on widely, disappearing by the late 1980s. It remains a forgotten experiment in convenience food packaging innovation. In an effort to ride the frozen beverage trend, Minute Maid launched its Orange Slush in 1985, a semi-frozen, slushy-style drink meant to deliver the classic orange flavor in a fun, new texture. Sold primarily through vending machines and convenience stores, it was positioned as a refreshing alternative to sodas or juice boxes. However, the slush machines often malfunctioned, leaving a watery mess or rock-solid ice, frustrating both vendors and customers. The inconsistent texture and overly sweet taste didn't help either.
Orangeade slushie from McDonald's, the very last of their series that they have. Again, $2 for this big guy.
Despite the recognizable brand and initial curiosity, the product failed to gain traction. By the late 80s, Minute Maid quietly discontinued the Orange Slush, marking it as another short-lived experiment that melted under its own promise. Cheese Whiz-topped hot dogs, launched in 1986, were intended to add creamy, cheesy indulgence to a classic American snack. The product featured pre-sliced hot dogs topped with a generous layer of processed Cheese Whiz, targeting consumers wanting easy, flavorful meals. However, many found the combination overly greasy and artificial tasting, as the processed cheese clashed with the hot dog's texture and flavor. The product was also high in fat and calories, deterring health-conscious buyers.
Fusion dogs, and they got the best ones on deck. A few of the heavy hitters are the Angry Dog with a spicy pork bulgogi and spicy aioli, jalapenos, delicious.
Packaging did not keep the cheese fresh, leading to spoilage complaints. Ultimately, Cheese Whiz-topped hot dogs failed to gain traction and disappeared from supermarket shelves by the late 1980s, remembered as a misguided culinary mashup. In 1984, Spam and pineapple combo packs attempted to blend savory canned meat with tropical sweetness, capitalizing on Hawaiian-inspired flavors gaining popularity in the U.S. The combo pack included pre-sliced Spam alongside canned pineapple chunks for quick meal preparation. However, many consumers found the pairing unappetizing and unnatural, with the sweetness overpowering the salty, processed meat. The canned packaging gave little room for freshness, and the combo's novelty wore off quickly.
And I'll be eating at all sorts of restaurants, the expensive, the not so expensive, and those spots where you can get a real bargain meal. And I'll be checking out breakfast places. And
additionally, Spam's existing reputation as a low-quality meat product made it difficult to reposition successfully. By the late 1980s, these combo packs vanished from most markets, serving as an example of a flavor fusion that failed to resonate widely. Spam and pineapple paired for a tropical twist. Was Watergate salad a retro favorite or a questionable dessert? Watergate salad became a curious culinary trend in the 1980s, combining pistachio pudding, canned pineapple, whipped topping, and marshmallows. Touted as an easy, sweet, and creamy dessert, its neon green color and mix of textures made it both eye-catching and polarizing. While it gained popularity at potlucks and family gatherings for its convenience and playful appearance,
fight to see who can get to it first. Notice I buried that cherry in there because I want a bite of it.
Many found its overly sweet, artificial flavor cloying. As the decade progressed and tastes began shifting toward fresher, less processed foods, Watergate salad lost its appeal. Today, it stands as a quirky relic of 1980s food culture, more nostalgic than appetizing. The 1982 launch of lime jello and cottage cheese dessert aimed to blend tangy gelatin with creamy cottage cheese, offering a supposedly refreshing and protein-packed treat. This concoction was marketed to health-conscious consumers looking for lighter dessert options. However, the unusual combination of sweet, tart lime gelatin with the mild, lumpy texture of cottage cheese proved off-putting to many. The contrasting flavors and textures confused palates, making the dessert unappetizing. Furthermore, its artificial lime taste and artificial sweeteners detracted from any sense of freshness. The product's short shelf life and lack of consumer enthusiasm led to its rapid disappearance from store shelves. It is now remembered as a mismatched flavor experiment, typical of early 80s innovation. In 1985, the gelatin turkey loaf attempted to reinvent meat dishes by suspending cooked turkey pieces in savory gelatin molds. Designed as a cold, easy-to-serve entree for parties and buffets, it fit the era's fascination with gelatin-based foods. Despite this, the dish was widely criticized for its unappetizing appearance and off-putting texture. The gelatin coating dulled the natural flavor of the turkey, creating a rubbery mouthfeel that many found unpleasant.
Tamarind, and then it's aged for a few months before it's strained in bottles, and that's why it has such punch.
Yeah, you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Yep.
We'll let this reduce down for a minute just to concentrate those yummy flavors.
The concept also evoked associations with outdated aspic dishes, which had largely fallen out of favor. As tastes moved toward fresher, hotter meals, gelatin meat loaves disappeared from mainstream dining, becoming a symbol of 80s culinary excess gone wrong. Gelatin turkey loaf combined meat and dessert. Did aspic molds continue the trend or turn appetites away? Aspic molds featuring meat, vegetables, or seafood suspended in savory gelatin enjoyed a fleeting resurgence in the 1980s as a trendy party centerpiece. The visually impressive, often colorful molds promised elegance and convenience. However, many guests found the texture unpleasant, slimy and rubbery.
Gelatin meat is served cold. It goes well with hot side dishes, especially mashed potatoes.
And the flavor combinations awkward or artificial. Additionally, aspics required precise preparation and refrigeration, limiting their practicality. As culinary tastes shifted to fresher, lighter fare, aspic molds became synonymous with outdated and kitschy food presentations. Despite their innovative attempt to impress with artistry and novelty, aspic molds failed to maintain popularity beyond the decade, serving as a cautionary tale about style over substance in food trends. In 1986, Vol au Vent frozen kits promised a gourmet, ready-made pastry experience at home, allowing consumers to bake delicate puff pastry shells filled with savory ingredients. Marketed to busy cooks wanting elegant appetizers without the fuss, these kits initially attracted attention. However, the frozen pastry is often baked unevenly, resulting in soggy or undercooked textures. The fillings lacked freshness and depth.
And it kind of went okay, a bit sideways, and these are the best one. That's the one with the hat. I kind of preferred actually that technique. Some of the casing in the back have gone a bit sideways as
leaning heavily on processed ingredients that diminished the upscale appeal. Moreover, preparation instructions were sometimes confusing, causing inconsistent results. Competition from freshly baked or frozen finger foods with more reliable quality pushed Vol au Vent kits off the shelves by the late 80s. Despite its sophisticated concept, the product failed to deliver a satisfying gourmet experience at convenience. The 1984 launch of Nut Loaf targeted the growing vegetarian market by offering a meatless alternative to traditional meatloaf made primarily from nuts, grains, and legumes. Positioned as a healthy, protein-rich entree, Nut Loaf attempted to appeal to both vegetarians and those seeking healthier diets. However, its dense, dry texture and heavy nutty flavor failed to satisfy consumers expecting a familiar meatloaf experience. Many found it bland and difficult to prepare appealingly.
The room is filling with the aroma of lemon. We've got the chestnuts in there, the cranberries, the mixed nuts, flavors of thyme and rosemary and nutmeg. This is
lacking the savory richness of its meaty counterpart. Additionally, limited distribution and marketing meant Nut Loaf struggled to reach a wider audience. Though innovative for its time, the product's failure illustrated early challenges in mainstreaming vegetarian convenience foods. In one of the most bizarre product misfires of the 1980s, tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds attempted to diversify by introducing a candy designed to look and feel like a cigarette. This smokeless, nicotine-free candy stick was meant for adults trying to quit smoking, but its resemblance to actual cigarettes raised immediate alarm. Critics slammed it for potentially glamorizing smoking to children.
Arrows can be used in any no-smoking area, anytime, anywhere you want, without restriction.
While adult consumers found it awkward, unappealing, and downright confusing. Health advocates, parents, and politicians condemned the idea as tone-deaf and dangerous, sparking swift backlash. Amid mounting pressure and negative publicity, the product was quickly pulled from shelves. It remains a cautionary tale of how brand image and social awareness can make or break innovation. Launched in 1988, Frodo Dinner Mix Salads attempted to blend packaged salad ingredients with pre-cooked dinner items, aiming to offer quick, complete meals in a single container. The product included salad greens, dressings, and protein bits like chicken or tuna. Despite the convenience appeal, Frodo salads suffered from inconsistent ingredient quality. Wilted greens, soggy proteins, and watery dressings were common complaints.
Pepper, or you can leave them out if you like, or change them into seasonings of your choice. So here's a little salt and pepper.
Consumers also found the flavor combinations odd and the texture unbalanced. Packaging design was bulky, limiting shelf life and storage ease. As fresh salad bars and meal kits gained popularity, Frodo mixes quickly lost favor. Their failure emphasized how innovation in ready meals must prioritize freshness and taste alongside convenience.